Hi, I'm Reina Doherty with B. Stevens HR Consulting, and today we're going to be talking about fostering a healthy workplace. So, why does it matter? Well, one out of three employees say that they typically feel tense or stressed out during the workday. Three out of five Americans say that work is a significant source of stress for them. Those with high levels of work stress, such as job strain or an effort reward imbalance, are twice as likely to think about committing suicide than those with no or limited amounts of work stress. Those who work 11 or more hours per day are 2 to 3 times more likely to experience depression, and 10 to 20% of all causes of cardiovascular disease deaths among the working age populations can be attributed to work. There are also significant business costs of unhealthy work. The direct and indirect costs of work related stress to companies is estimated in the hundreds of billions of dollars. This is due to increased healthcare premiums, increased costs from absenteeism, sick leave, and disability, diminished productivity at work, and employee turnover. So, significant increases in healthcare costs because unhealthy work can make your workforce sick and more likely to experience health problems, which can be persistent, difficult to treat, and expensive. Healthcare expenditures are nearly 50% greater for workers who report high levels of stress. Over half of the 550 million working days lost annually in the US from absenteeism are stress related, and 1 in 5 of all last minute no shows are due to job stress. High psychological demands, emotional demands, and conflict with supervisors and coworkers increased the risk of being injured in an occupational accident, even taking into account demographics, fatigue, shift work, and the type of work environment. National studies show that about a fifth of staff turnover can be related to stress at work, and the cost of voluntary white collar turnover is estimated to be at least a year's compensation for that position. So, what does healthy work look like? It includes these five categories: the physical environment, psychosocial environment, organizational culture and climate, work organization, and rewards and benefits. So, with the physical environment, we're looking at an employee's right to safety and freedom from physical harm at work, like injuries, work related illness and disease, and even death. Psychosocial environment, we're looking at job control, work demands, job strain, job security, whether there's job rotation or enrichment, if there's supervisor and coworker support, if efforts are balanced with rewards, and if there's work life balance, if the company recognizes emotional labor. And then next, with organizational culture and climate, we're talking about organizational justice and incivility. Work organization includes minimizing shift work, limiting long work hours, and finally, rewards and benefits. Are employees getting fair pay, and do they have adequate paid time off and health insurance? So, how healthy is your workplace? How can you find out? I've provided 6 different options here for assessments that look at how healthy work is. You can look through any of these, find one that might be the best fit for you. Um, Often, these are completed online pretty quickly, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Some of them actually include sending assessments out to all of your employees, to find out from the employee perspective how you rate in these areas. One I'll talk about briefly in particular is this Healthy Work Campaign survey, which would be a great option. It's a tool that allows your company to identify the sources of stress at work based on firsthand knowledge of your employees. So health and productivity outcomes including self-reported mental and physical health, burnout, and sick leave. It also highlights potential solutions for your organization based on the challenges and stressors that are identified in the survey. And then additional tools and strategies are available to guide you in working with your employees to develop ideas for reducing work stressors and actions you can take to improve the culture and health of your organization. So, what can you do about it? What can you do to make your workplace a healthier workplace? The first thing that I want to mention is that there is no perfect one set of recommendations, that fits every company. There are so many different strategies you can use, and which one is best or most appropriate in your situation will depend on your specific work stressors, as well as your industry and the size of your company and what kind of resources you have and everything like that. One of the first things we'll talk about that you can do to increase healthy work is to develop standards for job descriptions so that there are reasonable workloads, a variety of tasks, clear responsibilities, and a clear line of reporting. You can also establish policies and train managers to encourage employee participation in decision making and encourage employees in their ability to carry out their tasks with independence and autonomy. You can also evaluate manager performance in the following areas. Are they involving all employees in discussing problems and solutions? Do they communicate frequently with employees about important decisions and future plans? Do they arrange work assignments in a way that prevents excessive demands? Do they plan work carefully with employees to agree on achievable deadlines and work pace? Do they ensure that tasks and responsibilities are clearly defined? And do they provide employees with opportunities for learning and skill development? Next, we're going to talk about creating a more supportive work environment. So you can organize job roles to allow employees to participate in work teams, train managers on effective leadership of work teams and effective communication, form labor management committees to allow effective feedback from employees and management on all issues pertaining to worker health, safety, and work stress. You can sponsor social events to foster teamwork and positive relationships, and make sure that meal break areas are clean, furnished, and well equipped so that employees feel free to socialize at break times. And now we're looking at addressing work-life balance. You can adopt policies on fair and flexible work schedules that are appropriate to your industry and make sure to communicate those policies and procedures to all employees. There are many different types of flexible work arrangements you could consider, like having a flexible schedule, such as a compressed work week, like working 4 10s, where employees work 10 hours for 4 days each, and then have an extra day off each week. Even just reducing hours may be appropriate for some employees. So maybe instead of working 40 hours a week, they just work 30 hours if that's what is best for them and possible for you in terms of getting the job done. A variable schedule, so maybe picking which 8 hours they work. Maybe it's starting 2 hours later and ending 2 hours later rather than a traditional 8 to 5 or 9 to 6. Telework or hybrid work, so working some days remotely and other days from the office. It's also important to train supervisors how to communicate and support your existing work-life policies and programs. And it's really important to develop vacation or sick leave programs that can help employees during hardship. Contracting with an employee assistance program is another great option. EAPs can provide a lot of mental health support for your employees, whether that's some free limited counseling to help them with some immediate stressors at work, or a lot of other program offerings they have that can help reduce stress in employees' personal lives if they are maybe had ID theft or some kind of a legal issue by getting a free legal consultation, or perhaps some life coaching or just access to a lot of resources maybe on some health issue they're experiencing, or even like a home buyers program getting assistance with buying a first home. So a lot of different ways the EAP can help reduce some of that stress from employees and what they're dealing with both at home and at work. Another fantastic option is to implement wellness programs. So that could be something like screenings or wellness assessments, community events or awareness building initiatives, individual behavior change programs, group based support programs, or incentive based programs. So, a lot of different options there. You can choose from, pick something that would work well with your employee population. Next, we'll talk about reducing incivility and promoting justice and fairness. So, establishing policies and procedures to deal with incivility, abuse, harassment, and violence at work, to let employees know that that kind of behavior is not tolerated, and that if they do experience such a thing, that can be reported and they can be confident that it will be addressed. Incorporate respect and fairness into the company mission statement, personnel policies, and even in expectations for daily interactions. Provide training for all employees on respectful and fair treatment in the workplace, and include executives, managers, supervisors, production employees, all new hires, right? That's something we want all employees to be really privy to. And reward employees for being good role models for respect and fairness in the workplace. Another thing you can do is to address hours, shifts, and schedules. So, when possible, avoid on call scheduling and give employees reasonable advance notice of what their shift will be. Recognize the dangers of disrupted sleep and fatigue that can be caused by shift work and long work hours, and consider redesigning the work schedule, redistributing the workload, or offering longer recovery times in between those shifts. Avoid rotating employees between night shifts and day shifts. That can be really disruptive to their sleep and to their health. So trying to either keep people consistently on night or on day, and offer shift workers educational programs and resources to help them improve sleep strategies, exercise and diet programs, and relaxation techniques. Okay, here are a few of my favorite resources on this topic. If you would like to learn more, read up on some of the research in this area. The first one, the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. They have a really well known program called Total Worker Health. That would be a great resource. Also, the Healthy Work Campaign. And then the Center for Disease Control has a national healthy worksite program, also a fantastic resource. Of course, if you would like to talk about this more or get some assistance with coming up with some good strategies for your business, we'd be happy to talk with you and help you with that as well. I hope you have a good idea of the importance of healthy work now, and some ideas for some starting points of some changes you might start making that'll really benefit your employees and your organization overall.